Pureed vegetable soups are a great way to get a healthy serving of vegetables, and they couldn't be easier to make. So I'm gonna make a cauliflower soup that has basically 3 ingredients. It's beyond simple. Start with a head of cauliflower and break this down into florets. In the cauliflower stalk are little tiny leaves, and we are gonna definitely hold on to those leaves today. That's going to be our crunchy factor in our soup. So you can go ahead and just compost these tougher outer stalks. But once you start getting around to this item, you want to hold that aside. They roast up beautifully. And I find it's helpful to just use a paring knife to kind of work around the center stalk instead of just cutting into it with a large chef's knife. All right, so we got some more leaves there. So we're looking for even-sized stalks. You can just sort of break them apart with your hand. Super easy. Cauliflower is an interesting little vegetable. Did you know that it contains almost as much vitamin C as a small orange? Super rich in vitamin C as well as potassium. But I think the texture is what a lot of people crave because it purees into such a beautiful, creamy, rich, satisfying puree. No need for cream or a lot of extra fat. So let's transfer the florets to a medium-sized pot here. Make sure we get all the pieces on the board. Top this with 2.5 cups of chicken stock. You can also use vegetable broth or even water. Now this may look interesting because our liquid line does not actually cover the cauliflower. This is one of the keys to this recipe. We're basically going to be steaming our florets, and then the small amount of liquid is just going to add enough body to puree it, and we're gonna have a really nice, rich, creamy soup. So we'll bring this to a boil, season with salt, a few grinds of fresh pepper. So my broth is up to a nice simmer. Just reduce this slightly, cover it, and we're gonna cook this until the cauliflower is super, super tender, about 20 minutes. While the cauliflower is cooking, let's roast the leaves. Just transfer them to a small sheet pan. This amount looks good here. I'm going to drizzle with a little bit of olive oil, season with salt, and of course pepper. Give it a good toss. Make sure they're nice and evenly coated. So into a 450-degree oven for about 10 minutes. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's check on the leaves. They look great. So we'll let those cool over here. Beautiful, nice and crispy. Let's check the soup. Should be done. It's been bubbling away. Great way to test is to pierce the florets with a paring knife. It should have no resistance at all. So cauliflower is perfectly cooked, ready to be blended. Ladle the cauliflower into the blender. Really important when you're blending hot things in a blender is to only fill it up halfway, so definitely work in batches. I always like to take the top off if things are a little steamy in there and just cover it with a towel. Already looking really silky. All right. So just transfer this to another container while you finish up with the other portion in the pan. All right, looks like everything's there. And blend. Looking good. Let's pour it into our bowl. Oh, such a gorgeous texture. I love that this is just cauliflower and a little bit of liquid. Really the essence of cauliflower. So now we're going to, of course, add a little bit more pepper. And for the finishing touch, we will take some of our crispy, crunchy cauliflower leaves here. Very delicate. Gorgeous. All right, let's dig in. Oh, super velvety, smooth, creamy. Couldn't be simpler. Cauliflower pureed soup with roasted cauliflower leaves.